Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined, as always, by the man who's just been listening to the Fine Young Cannibals and getting measured up for his gimp suit. It's Greg. How are you today, Greg?
Very well. The thought of wearing a fully leather suit in this climate is not an enticing one.
Yeah, I can imagine. It'd be a bit, I can't imagine. I lived there for 12 years. I know exactly what it'd be. Not that I ever wore a gimp suit in that climate. I should just reiterate. But yeah, that would be, you need a lot of talcum powder for that. A lot of
time. To get it on and off, I'd imagine.
Yeah. You'd probably have to cut it off. I mean, you would actually boil in that. It'd be like a boil in the bag rice or something. Like
I was in where was I yesterday? Was it yesterday or the day before? I was in a sports shop because I was considering buying, because you and I and our mutual friend are getting together next week, and I've got like a good little carry-on case that holds quite a lot that I use when I go on my travels around the region. And I was thinking, well, do I just maybe get a bag I can sling over my shoulder? So I was kind of contemplating buying one of those bags the other day, and when I had a wee mooch around the sports shop just to see if there was any bargains for anything that I needed for my running or my tennis, and I saw a sauna suit. Have you ever seen a sauna suit before?
Yeah, I have,
so they're quite common.
Yeah, boxers wear them a lot.
Yeah, so it's just something you wear when you're going about that recreates the sauna environment.
Yeah,
only without the shortness of breath.
Helps you drop a bit of weight. I mean, back in the olden days, they would just use bin bags.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you get special sauna suits. So, yeah. Did you buy one?
No, I don't think it's something that I need because, as I mentioned before, when we were talking about my running, like the sweating is profound. Like I was today, I ran today. I only did 5k on the treadmill, and I literally was able to wring out the breathable top that I was wearing. It's like a proper running top, like meshy top.
Wow.
But yeah, it's I was absolutely soaking. So I don't think I need a sauna suit. I think my current exertions are enough to if I want to lose weight by like excreting gallons of sweat. Like my running seems to accomplish that. What have you been up to?
Well, we're in a weird time loop here, Greg, because this episode's going to come out, ridiculously enough, the Field of Blood episode will come out when we're in Glasgow.
Yeah. Yes, in Glasgow, yes.
Yeah. We'll be leaving Edinburgh that morning, heading to Glasgow. This episode will come out 2 weeks after, but we're actually banking this because this is a Friday we're recording this, but we're not actually meeting up until the Tuesday. So we're in a very strange time loop. And it's because you just mentioned about you're looking for a bag for your travel. So unfortunately, listeners, you're going to have to wait until the following episode to find out about our adventures in Edinburgh and Glasgow, which I'm sure will be plentiful. Yes. I'll be good. Yeah. I went to see Belle and Sebastian on Sunday night, which was amazing. They were fantastic. Yeah. They were so good. I absolutely incredible.
I enjoyed the video you sent me of their performance of The Boy in the Arab Strap. But I did have a question. So there was a lot of people dancing in your video. Were they dancing on the stage around the band, or was like a sort of stage in front of the band that they were able to dance on?
No,
all right.
No, got them up on the stage for that song.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was like the front row. Yeah, just got them up, and it was amazing. I mean, it was raining and stuff, but it was, but it didn't hamper the show, so to speak. And it was in this beautiful kind of outdoor amphitheater. Yeah. So like I was sat down.
Right.
Well, it was all seating basically, but still getting up and having a little boogie. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Absolutely wonderful gig. So, and it was nice to be there and represent Scottish roots to be there. But no, it was good. That's about all I've kind of been up to, getting ready for our trip.
I know.
Checking the weather daily and working out what the hell to pack, because obviously we're going to need a light rain jacket and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm same as you. I've got hand luggage only, so I don't want to take too much back and then end up.
I do have a lot of things to take back. It seems. More.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of things to take back from Scotland too. Yeah, back to Dubai. Yeah, you do actually. You've got quite a lot of toys and things that you have to take back. So you better leave a little bit of extra room for that.
Birthday presents and whatnot. Yes, no, I know. Well, and that's I'm taking like my smallest soap bag, which obviously you've just before we started recording, you kindly agreed to pick me up a couple of little travel toiletries because they're impossible to get in Dubai. So yeah, I'll be travelling light. It's only when away, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 nights. So I'll be fine. I'll have plenty of room in my case, so I will.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, of course you will. Yeah, it's fine. You'll always get stuff in, and you can always just, well, that's all you'll have, the stuff that you're taking, and then the only other thing you'll need to take room for is for a new big hardback book that you'll be buying. So
I can just carry that under my arm. So I'll just read it I'll read it on the plane on the way back. So that's okay.
It's all right. It's okay. You don't need any room at all for my presents. Well, tiny bit of room for one. The other one, you don't need any room for.
Your other present is 46 bumps. Is it?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's exactly it. I'm going to get the big man, our mutual friend, to deliver them though, because although mind you, I've been kickboxing recently, so maybe I can do them quite well.
I think it probably owes me a couple, because I've got a vague memory the last time that we were all together at his place in Aberdeen, him waking me up and me kind of rabbit punching him in the head a few times. Because he lifted my t-shirt up and blew raspberries on my exposed stomach, which I wasn't exactly prepared for. So he probably owes me a couple of dinks, I would think.
And if any of our listeners are wondering what men in their 40s get up to when they meet up, when they've been friends for 25 years, that's exactly it. We blow raspberries on each other's stomachs. Anyway, right then, Greg. Well, before we go to Scotland, shall we have a look at what's been happening in Scotland over, I would say the last couple of weeks, but it's the last week because we recorded last week.
Yep, cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg, what have you seen from Scotland that you'd like to share with me and our lovely listeners?
Well, I suppose the big news, which will date the podcast by the time it comes out, is that the results of the British or UK election were announced this morning. And I think it's a new day. Certainly seem. If you've got a double-barreled surname, it's probably not a good day for you if you're an MP. But, let's see. I saw the SNP lost nearly 40 seats, which is probably due to some of the controversy they've been courting. But yeah, it'll be... for my daughter, my youngest daughter, this is only the second administration that she will have seen in her lifetime, because
oh wow, of course, yeah,
the Tories took government about 5 months before she was born.
Years ago.
2010.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. I'm sure it'll be the fucking Emperor's New Clothes. And
guess that's the same as us though, because we only knew the Conservatives, didn't we?
Until
Labour got in.
Yeah. Well, I suppose strictly speaking, when the Conservatives got in, I'd have been one. In 1979.
Right. Well, I only knew the Conservatives.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I only did as well, because obviously I was one. I do remember the optimism when Tony Blair and co were elected in 1997. But I remember being very concerned, because I used to get I imagine like you did as well, I used to get a full grant because my mum and dad were separated. So when I was a student, so I got a full grant. And one of the things that the Labour Party ran on was they were going to remove the grant system for everybody and introduce no interest or low interest student loans. I can't remember. But fortunately, my grant maintained until I finished college and I was finished being a student. But I remember being really worried. In my naivety, I thought, the day after that he forms a government, they're just going to shut down my grant, not realising that these things take a little bit of time. So I was able to milk the system for another few months before I finished college.
Yeah, I got no grant.
No? You just took...
I mean, I started uni 1998. I got no grant. So I didn't have to pay any tuition fees or anything, but I got no grant. No, I had to take out student loans if I wanted money, which I didn't do for the first year. And then I think the second year I was like, fuck it, I'll take out a student loan because, it's free money basically. But, and I think I took one out in the fourth year as well.
Right.
And then of course, that's to my detriment later on in the years that realised you have to actually pay that money back.
Yeah.
And of course, I left the country and didn't really inform anyone, and I kind of felt bad about it because I was like, fuck, if I ever want to go back to the UK, like I might be in a bit of trouble for that. So 1 year I did get in touch with them and it took a while, and it was just after I'd got my bonus from work and I just paid off the full whack.
Right.
because I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Then it don't have to worry about that ever again.
Yeah, sensible.
So yeah, I never got a grant.
Oh well, I did. It's fucking great. And I got all my travel expenses paid for going to college. I said, all I had to do, I said this because I lived out in Buchan, so I got the bus in for the first year, like from Mintlaw, and I had to keep all my bus tickets and like submit them with my forms. I think fucking talking like, I don't know, like maybe almost like you get to do it like every term. So a term would be around 3 months. And I was going in like usually 5 days a week unless there was a holiday or something. So I'd be sending off like tons and tons of bus tickets in a fucking manila envelope. And when I think about it, I could have sent in anybody's bus ticket. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could have actually. You should just went around and picked up bus tickets on the bus.
I was going...
Because people always just threw them, didn't they?
I was going out with this girl and she was like, she was getting the bus in as well. Because she said, you should just buy a bus pass. Because she didn't get all her... because her mum and dad were still together. Because she didn't come from a broken home like I did. She bought a bus pass, which was a lot cheaper. Like, I think it cost her something like 30 pence with her bus pass to get a return from Mintlaw into Aberdeen every day. And I was like, doesn't matter, I'm going to get it all back anyway. Oh well, good times. Well, anyway, let's see how Keir Starmer gets on. Like, I've never known a Labour Party leader to have such a fucking Conservative Party name, but let's see how it goes. So my first story is perhaps fittingly with the day of the election being the results of the election rather being released today. My story is about a man flying in the face of bureaucracy in the most Glaswegian way possible. So this comes from the Glasgow Times, formerly known as the Evening Times, yesterday, which was the 4th of July. The headline reads, "Yous are lying cunts." Man emailed Glasgow Housing Association. So between November the 3rd and the 11th of last year, Ewan Cameron sent several messages to I'm just going to say the GHA, I'm not going to say Glasgow Housing Association every time. In one he stated, "Yous are lying bastards. You don't give a fuck about your customers. All you do is suck each other off and cover each other's arses." "I've got 12 recordings between you and me which will prove that yous are lying cunts. I will upload and post it to every social media outlet I can get." The Westerton resident also emailed the organisation's manager saying, "Do you think I'm stupid enough to get rid of the evidence?" The emails were reported to the police, who went to Cameron's home and spoke with him. He argued with the police and was arrested, cautioned and charged. So he appeared at Glasgow Sheriff Court last week after he pleaded guilty to sending messages and emails that were grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscure or menacing character. He admitted using threatening language and making sexual remarks as well. His solicitor told the court, and this has to be the understatement of the year, maybe even like the 21st century, it's fair to say, to some extent, he was disgruntled. He's 58 years old. He's had a tenancy for around 2 years. There was a dispute with a neighbour in relation to a number of issues such as boundary rights. However, the position is that the neighbour has now moved. There are new tenants, and his relationship with them is good. The conflict with the housing association was because they did not take his complaints seriously. Sheriff Lunny remarked, "It does not justify the language. This is not the way to go about this." His lawyer agreed that he concedes his actions were quite inappropriate. There was a discussion regarding the motivation behind the sexual remarks. The sheriff concluded, "It's clearly not sexual. It's more just abusive. There is no need for sex offender registration." Cameron's lawyer continued, "He's got employment. He has substantial earnings from his last employment. He's currently working 7 days a week. He's in a new relationship. So he was fined £800 and he had to pay whoever he spoke to at the GHA a £40 victim surcharge."
£40. Fucking what's that? All you do is suck each other off and cover each other's arses. That's fucking brilliant.
I mean, like, you know yourself. Nobody does bureaucracy like the Middle East. They are world leaders in bureaucracy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It can be quite a frustrating place to live when you're trying to get stuff done.
Yes.
Pride myself that I've never told some municipality worker. I've never accused them of just sucking each other off and covering each other's arses, although, so like, I do understand his frustration, but he does seem to be quite contrite. He seems to have been quite contrite in court, and I think all's well that ends well. You ever lost the plot with somebody on the phone, one of these types of places?
Yes, I have actually. And funnily enough, it was when I was in Dubai. I don't know how they got hold of my number, and I'll happily go on record saying this, but it was the De Group.
Right.
Who are a bunch of cunts.
Oh, they're financial advisors, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know how they got hold of my number. In fact, I do. It was someone, because people were signing up, and if you give 5 numbers, you were getting like a free iPad or something. So they were just given, I don't know who it was, and I was getting calls sometimes daily.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not interested. And one day, one of them phoned me, and it's all, we do have a lot of English listeners, but it was all fucking Cockney wide boys. Like, we're calling, I'm just calling, or it was, English speaking, you could tell they were from the UK.
Yeah.
And he just caught me in the wrong moment. And I was in the office, and everyone like in the cubicles around me started standing up and looking at me, like, cause listening to this conversation. And when I hung up the phone, one of my colleagues applauded me, and he went, I have never seen you react like that before. Like, well done. And I did just launch into, I was like, look, I'm not interested, mate. And I was like, look, I am not having a go at you. I know it's just your job, but I'm getting harassed constantly by you people fucking phoning me every day and trying to offer me a pension or something or some investment. I am not fucking interested. Please take me off of your database. Like, and I can't remember. I really went mental. Like, and I still got calls. I used to play about with them. I told one that I was going through a divorce, and he was like, oh, well, when do you think that'll be finished? Like, cause I was like, all my finances are tied up. I told one of them that I'd just recently been diagnosed with a terminal disease. And he was like, oh, okay.
When do you think that'll be finished?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Like, I started just making up stories and stuff, and it was just ridiculous. They just wouldn't go. I think I had like 27 different numbers, because they would call from a different number every time. I had like 27 numbers on my phone listed under do not answer. And it was just horrific. It was harassment. I think that's what I said to the guy, actually. I was like, and in fact, I used the, it's always my favorite. I mean, Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's one of my favorite scenes when he's just at home and a cold caller calls him up to try and sell him something. And he's like, look, sorry, it's not right convenient at the moment. Can you give me your home number and I'll call you back this evening? And he's like, oh, you're not allowed to do that. Because I guess you don't want people bothering you at home. And then just hangs up. And I did say that to one guy as well. I was like, can I give you a call tonight? And he's like, yeah, no bother. I'm like, for fuck's sake, you're that desperate for a sale? One guy, actually, I did say, I was like, look, I know you're just the guardian caller here. So you just need for me to arrange a meeting with your boss, effectively, don't you? Yeah. I was like, okay, right, fine. I will meet him in Fujairah in a hotel on Tuesday at 3:00. And he's like, okay, right, I'll just write that down. I was like, just let you know, I'm not going to be there, but you can tell him that there's an appointment there just to make him drive all the way to Fujairah. And so, yeah, I did lose my rag a few times with them. But yeah, what can you do?
I fell foul of them, and it was entirely my own fault. Because there might still be a hotel group called the De Group as well. And there used to be more of a sort of high-end type of hotel, and somebody, like, quite a good-looking girl, sent me a message on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, say, and I could see she's from the De Group, and their message was very clever. She said, "Oh, hi, I can't remember what her name was. I'm so and so from the De Group. I wondered if we might be able to have a chat to talk about some opportunities." And I was a bit pissed off at work at the time, and I thought, maybe this is maybe a new job potentially for old Greggy boy here. So I said, sure, and I gave my number. And of course, it was those financial advisors. So, they call me all the time. But, well, they don't anymore because I just have blocked them so many times. But a guy called me a few months ago. He just completely cold called me. And I said to him, look, do you honestly think that what makes you think that I would want to get into any conversation about my finances with somebody who's just called me out the blue? Completely unsolicited. You know what I mean? I said, if I want financial advisement, I will look for a financial advisor myself and approach them.
You get a recommendation from someone who you trust.
And I've got a guy that was recommended to me called Gareth, who's fucking great. You know what I mean? But as if you're just going to tell a stranger on the phone, I make X amount a year. This is how much I save every month. This is how much I put here and there. But what's my investment portfolio? I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? Honestly, it must be such a dissatisfying fucking job as well. Can you imagine anything more depressing than just, being told in a variety of different ways, politely or impolitely, to fuck off all day? Do you know what I mean?
You have to have a very thick skin for something like
definitely.
that. Yeah. Hugely thick skin. I couldn't do that. I think after the first call, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to speak to anyone else. I can't do this.
I think you have to be a sociopath to be able to do that job, don't you?
Yeah.
And
I would agree.
Who's going to invest their money with a fucking sociopath, right?
Yeah, you'd probably be surprised, actually.
Well, so we're not going to have any financial advisor companies rushing to sponsor the podcast now, but who cares? At least we can sleep at night, Anyway, that's my first story this week. What's your first story for this episode?
My first story is from the Scottish Sun this week, Greg, and the headline is Celeb Spot. Scotland launches very own Hollywood Walk of Fame as household names are honoured. So a Scots town has been given a touch of Hollywood with its very own Walk of Fame. Paisley is set to honour big names from the world of music, TV and film who have made an impact in the local community. The first 10 stars have been unveiled with, could you have a guess? Or
I think, 2 spring to mind, maybe 3.
Okay.
Jerry Butler, Paolo Nutini, John Byrne.
Those 3 are on the list, yes. Nutini, Byrne and Hollywood Butler is on the list. It doesn't mention the full list here, so I wonder who they're hiding, but the names that they mention are David Tennant, Paolo Nutini, Hollywood
Tennant's
Butler.
From Bathgate. He's not from Paisley.
Well, apparently he's getting an award on the Paisley Walk of Fame. Jerry Rafferty.
Yes, I think he's from Paisley, yeah.
Downton Abbey's Phyllis Logan. And John Byrne. Okay. Doctor Who star Tennant was over the moon at being awarded a plaque in his hometown. So I guess maybe he's got confused, Greg, if you're right. He said, I'm honoured to be included in the Buddy Walk of Fame, and thanks to everyone who voted for me. Greg's furiously checking where David Tennant's listed from.
I'm sure. Maybe it's his mum and dad now live in Bathgate or something like that. Let me see.
Maybe all that time travel's confused him, Greg, because he then goes on to say, I'm very proud to have attended Paisley Grammar, and I'm delighted that my star is being unveiled outside my old school. I have some great memories of my time in Paisley and will make a point of visiting the spot when I'm next in town.
So his Wikipedia says, Tennant was born David John MacDonald in Bathgate on the 18th of April 1971.
Well, he evidently went to school in Paisley, so that's maybe why he's being kind of the project. Well, you really wanting to be pernickety over this? No. You wanting to go, well, look, we're there next week. You can go and spit on the star if you want and say it's not right. You can, we'll take a Sharpie and you can write on it, Bathgate.
His dad was a militant Protestant, so there's a good chance that maybe that's why he went to Paisley Grammar. Anyway.
Right. Well, the project was launched by Paisley's Business Improvement District, which is fully funded by local businesses with support from Renfrewshire Council. The trail will also reflect on the town's rich heritage and features key landmarks which will run through the town. Paisley First Chairwoman Elaine Templeton commented, "We were inundated with nominations for the Buddy Walk of Fame, but the people of Paisley made it clear that these were the favourites to be celebrated in the first phase. We're looking forward to welcoming visitors from all over the world to follow the trail and enjoy everything the town has to offer." So they're hoping Japanese tourists will come and can take photos of Phyllis Logan's stone. The Buddy Walk of Fame truly is the perfect way to celebrate the achievements of buddies the world over and help inspire younger generations to achieve their dreams. Now, the Sun have put this in just in case anyone was unsure. Hollywood's Walk of Fame is situated in Hollywood and hails a string of household names, including, they've listed 3 names here, Greg. Have a guess. Which 3 names have they mentioned from the Hollywood Walk of Fame? There's 3 names you could mention.
Just like of any actor. It's not geographically limited. Just any actor.
I would tell you they are. I mean, it's a Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'll give you a clue. They're all American and they've all been in films. They're all actors.
Thank you for that. That's really helped me. I don't know. Fuck knows. Morgan Freeman, John Wayne, Rock Hudson,
Marilyn Monroe, Johnny Depp, and Donald Trump.
He's only been in one film, Home Alone 2. How does that get him a Hollywood star?
Was he not? He was in something else, wasn't he? He was in another film. There was definitely another film he was in. You've Been Trumped. He was in that as well. Yeah. So that is Paisley's latest tourist attraction. They have a Hollywood, Paisley, Buddy Walk of Fame.
Having visited the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I'm confident that the only thing that the Buddy Walk of Fame will have in common with it is that there'll be fucking Jakies passed out on it. Because if you ever go to Hollywood Boulevard, you're going to spend quite a lot of time stepping over the absolutely hammered homeless guys.
I saw a picture on Instagram yesterday, and this harks back to a couple of stories that we've covered in the past. And it was the Oompa Loompa, Kirsty, who she was in, obviously she was at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah. And there must be a Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it says Oompa Loompa. Right. Don't know why, because that's a fictional character, but I guess, I mean, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, basically you have to pay for that anyway, don't you? So
I'd imagine so.
Anyone can get one. Yeah, the actor has to pay for it.
Right.
So she had, obviously with, Photoshop or whatever app on her phone, put Scottish in front of Oompa Loompa. So it looked like, and it was in the same font and stuff. Right. And she took her photo of her posing beside it, had obviously put Scottish in it, and she went, I can't believe this has happened already. And there were about 20 comments went, holy fuck, is this real? And I'm like, how stupid are people? How fucking stupid are people? Like, Kirsty the Oompa Loompa. Hey, all credit to you, Kirsty. We love you.
Yeah, I've really got a lot of respect for Kirsty.
Why would she get a fucking Hollywood Walk of Fame star ahead like John Smeaton or something?
I mean, I remember, we not long ago passed the anniversary of the thwarted terror attack on Glasgow Airport in 2007. And I remember watching a programme, a documentary about John Smeaton. And it's a bit of a shame, actually, because although he's kind of lauded and rightly recognised as being a hero, like it really damaged his mental health. Like I think a little bit of PTSD, and then I think the sort of overwhelming, like despite the fact that it was positive, the overwhelming reaction to what he did, because there was other guys there that also, and he's always maintained that he wasn't the only person that did something that day. He just happened to give an absolutely brilliant interview right after the fact. Just fucking set about him, But he went to New York to be honoured in a sort of heroes gala dinner thing, and the Americans went fucking bananas for him. Do you know what I mean? Like absolutely bananas for him, because of course, like the terror attack that happened to them not like 6 years before, there was no thwarting because of the scale of it. Do you know what I mean? But like here's a guy who they see as being a fucking bit of a cowboy in the heroic sense of the word, just sort of standing up for freedom and saving lives and everything. And he's sort of, I think he's become a bit of a recluse. I think I don't think he likes to get too involved anymore, John Smeaton. But so if he's got a Hollywood star, I think that's fucking brilliant.
He doesn't have a Hollywood star.
Really?
I don't think he does. It's
the
first name I plucked up. It's the first name I plucked out of my head. Purely because, as you said, we just kind of recently passed the anniversary. And I did send you the headline, which is one of my favourite headlines of all time. I booted a burning terrorist so hard in the balls, I broke a tendon in my foot.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, honestly. What a day to be Scottish. Billy Connolly's got Absolutely. There's a brilliant Billy Connolly clip talking about watching the footage of that from his he was in his apartment in New York watching it unfold, and he's like, I was just on the floor. You know, he's like, I'm from there. You know, he said, I mean, what were these terrorists thinking? They're going to bring religious war to Glasgow? You know, fucking about fucking 150 years ahead of them. You know? When they come to Glasgow,
as I said to you, I remember watching that in Dubai, watching it on the news and being terrified because my family, like my sister, mum, brother-in-law, nieces, they were on an Emirates flight to Glasgow and they were due to land like about 3 hours after I'm watching this unfold. Yeah. And they got there and I'd messaged them and stuff and I was like, is everything okay? Yeah, fine. It's like nothing had happened. Like, there was a wee bit of there was a wee bit of like commotion like when we came out of departures, but other than that, it was okay. It was just like a roped off fucking burning Land Rover or something. Everything else was okay.
There was a sort of faint smell of petrol we noticed, but I didn't think anything of it. You know, just wanted to get in a taxi and get up the road.
Oh dear. What else have you seen this week, Rick?
Well, I thought it's not much of a story, this, but the venue that it's about, I would say, was quite a significant one. When you and I were young bucks in Aberdeen, you a slightly younger buck than I, but still, would you say world famous Triple Kirks?
I don't think it's world famous.
the fairly well known Triple Kirks pub in Aberdeen. So Aberdeen's Triple Kirks pub is being revamped. And it's going to the club. What did the upstairs club used to be called that played all the indie tunes again? Exodus. Yeah, so Exodus at some point has been rebranded into XO at some point over the.
Is that the stock cubes?
It's OXO. Over the
It's Linda Bellingham there.
Yeah, her ashes are buried under the dance floor. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've been in Exodus since maybe the mid-2000s. So we're looking at a good 19, 20 years. Although my form in Exodus is probably better than any other venue in Aberdeen. And when I say form, I mean taking a young lady home after meeting and taking a young lady home afterwards. Which, I don't know, might say more about me than anywhere else. But anyway, the city centre venue is closing its doors temporarily for some, quote, well overdue and needed TLC. But punters will soon get a new Pop World Club and a fresh look at the Belmont Street Bar. So I was hoping this article might tell us a wee bit of history of Triple Kirks, because for as long, like one of the first places I ever went to, one of the first times I ever went out in Aberdeen was Triple Kirks. So I know it's been there for quite a long time. I mean, my first night out in Aberdeen was probably 1995. So it'd been there for at least 29 years, I suspect, longer. But it doesn't say. The upstairs club, which when we were young was a good place to go if you wanted to dance to music by bands like the Fun Loving Criminals, Oasis, early Foo Fighters, quick Nirvana songs, Supergrass and stuff. It was all sort of indie and grungy music, which was a bit of a change from the other clubs that we would go to in Aberdeen that would sort of tend to play chart music. As I said before, it's been rebranded into XO and it's about to become Pop World, which is a sort of national fun club chain as far as I can make out.
Okay.
Like games and I don't know, is Shag Tag still a thing? Do you remember Shag Tag?
Yes, I do remember Shag Tag. Yeah. I don't think you'd get away with Shag Tag nowadays, Greg. But yeah, I remember Shag Tag. Yeah. Fucking hell. How for listeners that won't know what the fuck we're talking about, I think we need to explain. It was Amadeus used to do Shag Tag, and did you not have? You went in and you had like a number. You got given a sticker, with a number on it, and people could write your number down at this kind of desk and leave you a message or something.
It was like instant. It was like instant Tinder, analog Tinder.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It was kind of like, well, it was like speed dating, but without the talking.
Yes.
You would just see someone you like the look of and then go and write their number down and write a message. But then I don't know how you'd have to, I don't know how it worked because I don't think
I never did it. I mean,
down.
the only reason I didn't do it was because I probably wasn't mentally equipped to deal with the crushing effects of rejection by a stranger or hundreds of strangers. You know what I mean?
Just imagine you slowly walking out with the Incredible Hulk music playing as you're peeling the sticker off your fucking your Yves Saint Laurent shirt.
Pierre Cardin.
Dejected, just waiting to getting on the bus and sitting on the top at the front yourself.
On my own.
To be tear looking out the window at the rain.
Yeah.
Waiting to just go to the bakery to get a pie and then a copy of Shaven Ravers.
Bottle of Mori Cup and drown my sorrows. Yeah. You paint
with Mori Cup.
You paint quite a sort of accurate picture of most nights out I had in Aberdeen. Actually, and most nights out I had in Glasgow, for that matter. You know.
Well, I can tell you that Triple Kirks, the actual church, was built in 1843.
No one gives a fuck about that. They want to know how long it's been a pub.
By the 1980s,
right,
the east part was converted into a bar, Simpson's Bar, which I wonder if that was Ricky Simpson's first place.
Remember? Yeah, he moved it to Market Street, didn't he? Is it Market Street he moved to Simpsons? Or up Queen's Road?
Yeah, it was up Queen's Road, Simpsons was, yeah. But I wonder if that was his first, and then it was later renamed the Triple Kirks, with the upper story becoming a dance school, and then obviously it became Exodus.
Any big memories from Triple Kirks or Exodus?
I was never really a fan of Exodus or Triple Kirks. I know you went, and I remember...
A mutual friend fucking hated it.
Yeah, I think I was in between. I went a few times. I know our other friend, Brett, quite liked it. He worked there for a while. I mean, he worked in most bars.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
And then Techno Jock, he quite liked it there, didn't he?
Techno Jock loved a bit of Exodus because it was literally the only place that he could meet women.
Yeah. I remember, I think I would only go there out of desperation, or I don't mean like that. I mean in terms of if there was like, if everyone else was going there was nowhere else to go. Yeah. A handful of times. I didn't even really like Triple Kirks, the pub. I do remember one night, I mean, you're right, it was insanely easy. Oh, this is going to make us sound so bad, Greg, but it was fucking 20 odd years ago. In fact, it was like 22 years ago. I do remember, like, I'd gone there. I hadn't even attempted anything all night because I was probably just like, there's nothing around. And then 2:00 came, everyone was outside, and I turned round, there was a reasonably attractive girl there, and all I said to her was, I like your pigtails. That was it. She grabbed my hand and I was off home with her within like 20 minutes. Like, that's all I said. I like your pigtails, and yeah. So yeah, it was very easy to pull in Triple Kirks, you're right.
Well, I mean, I didn't find it easy as such. I'm just talking about, like, if I think about my sort of hit rate, which, you know, nothing to brag about, really, but I think proportionately I was more successful in my amorous pursuits in Triple Kirks than I was anywhere else in Aberdeen.
It's a good job we're recording this really early, because I've got a funny feeling I'm going to edit this, send it to you, and then you're going to be like, could you cut that bit out, please, mate? Could you maybe cut that wee bit out?
I mean, look,
you're happy to have your hit rate in here, are you?
Well, you have to look at it through a slightly different lens. I mean, obviously, you know, we were young men, like very young, late teens, early 20s, you know, like I wasn't dragging anybody anywhere that they didn't want to go. You know what I mean? It was, you know, you met people the organic way. You sort of danced near them. You maybe offered to buy them a drink. You tried to hold some kind of conversation over the loud music. Maybe you bought them another drink. They might fuck off. Or they might hang about. You would all go outside together. And then, you know, if you were feeling brave, you might say, well, would you like to come back to mine? Or, you know, like in your case, it's not unheard of. She might say, well, would you like to come back to mine? And, you know, there was nothing sinister about it. That's what you do when you're young. You know, well, that's what we did when we were young. And that's what everyone else did when we were young as well. You know, it's not like now where it's all digital and, you know, all that kind of thing. You had to put the work in back in those days, especially if you weren't a handsome like a conventionally handsome person like that you fucking were, cunt. and remain and still are.
Or if it wasn't shag tag.
Yeah. I think I would not have been able to handle shag tag at all because like I just wasn't. I'm probably still not emotionally built for it. Like if I was a single guy now, and I went on to like Bumble or something where the ladies have to be the ones that get in touch, and like nobody got in touch with me, I'd probably fucking kill myself. Do you know
It's a bit extreme, mate. Fucking hell.
Well, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't do that. But I would be just crushed. Like my mental well-being would be absolutely in the bin. You know what I mean? It's the reason I've been married for so long. It's not. The reason I'm married for so long is because I'm a very lucky man and I love my wife to bits.
I'll definitely leave that bit in. Yeah. Oh, well, that's a nice trip down memory lane of Triple Kirks and Exodus.
I always preferred Triple Kirks as a place to go for a few cheeky afternoon pints. Like I never really liked it that much at night because it was just a wee bit too studenty. Do you know what I mean? It was just
it's a studenty place.
It was just a wee bit too studenty. Like, and I didn't mind because even during the day it was studenty, which was fine. Because it was sort of like-minded people. It was never that busy and you could go and have a quiet pint and a look at the paper or whatever, you know. But it was always quite busy at night and it was a wee bit too studenty. So I was never a huge fan of going to the pub at night. I'd rather go other places. But I was a fan of Exodus. So it was cheap to get in. We would buy like me and David Perry would buy 20 shots of apple sours. Like, so 10 each, because they were either 50p or a quid each, and we'd put them all on top of the cigarette machine, and then we'd have a race to see who could drink the most. And it just goes to show what a pair of fucking pansies we were, because it was apple sours. You might as well have been doing shots of fucking Robinson's cordial. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't even like a hard drink like Sambuca or tequila or Aftershock. It was like a sweet, slightly sour drink that anybody could have drunk, really. Do you know what I mean? But no, I had some good times in Exodus, like some good laughs and stuff.
I'm amazed after that story that your hit rate wasn't better.
I know. Just a fucking dribbling green slime out my mouth and nose. You know? All right.
Stinking of fucking apple and sugar.
Stinking of like sweet liquor and Regal king size. All right, doll. Do you like menswear? They've actually got some pretty good B-sides. I think you'll find, you know, like.
I'd love the thought of that. You discussing menswear B-sides. Must have only been 2, wasn't it? They only had about 2 singles.
Yeah, and they were fucking rubbish. That's what they were.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. I mean, you know, I'm a massive Britpop fan. I don't listen to menswear. Yeah. Definitely not.
Anyway.
I will listen to some obscure Britpop stuff, but not menswear.
Oh, this could be a long episode. Anyway, I think it's time to put the Triple Kirk story to bed. What's your second story this week?
I'm going to take you down memory lane again, Greg, but we're going to go further back, so thankfully there'll be no shagging stories. At least I hope not. This is from the Daily Record this week, and it's one of the lists that they occasionally do, and I normally avoid them, but I this one I quite liked. 10 things you'll remember if you went to a Scottish primary school. So most Scots will harbour fond memories of their primary school days, the first meeting time, mingling with peers, discovering new things, and of course, the joy of spending your own pocket money at the top shop. At the top shop?
Top shop.
At the tuck shop. Walking past our old school and looking at pictures sparks nostalgic memories of kickabouts, favourite lessons and classroom routines. And although every school is different, there are many things that united primary schools around Scotland. So here are 10 things that are bound to have memories flooding back of anyone who attended a primary school in Scotland. And it might be English schools had this as well, that we're just speaking this. So, listeners, get in touch if you know. So the first one is red ash pitches, which we know from Gregory's Girl is, of course, a thing. Although AstroTurf is much maligned in Scottish football, so-called plastic pitches were a godsend when they started appearing in schools in the noughties. Before then, would-be world beaters, we were forced to having our kickabouts on a dreaded red ash.
Yeah.
So, Greg, did you have a red ash pitch at your school?
Yeah, we did. We also had a trainer, ruiner, wasn't it? If you eat.
Yeah.
Because, like, when we were kids, most trainers were, well, white or black with, like, a white flash. You know, if you had, like, a pair of Pumas or maybe, like, a Nike or something like that, you made, like, a white flash, and the old red ash would just absolutely fucking... It was always really difficult to wash off and stuff.
As it says in the article, the only thing more painful than sliding on a red ash and tearing your leg to shreds was being struck by a Moldmaster 5 on a frosty winter morning. The round red welt they left upon contact with the skin usually contained the distinctive Moldmaster panelling and lasted longer than the pain itself. Which is very true. I remember that bastarding thing. Okay, number 2. Now, I should give it its proper name, but we called them puniekis, which is punishment exercises.
Right, okay. I'll say some kind of...
I don't know why we called them puniekis. No,
Moody.
not at primary school, Greg.
Moody pills.
Not even at secondary school. It was university before I discovered those. While some goody two-shoes were not able to relate to this, most of us will have found ourselves on the end of a punny eki at one point due to our behaviour. So a punishment exercise would usually... I mean, it depended. Did you ever get a punishment exercise?
At high school, when I moved back to Scotland, we used to get... You got a green one, which you just had to do, and then a red one you had to get your mum to sign and bring in. They were like a bit more severe, but there was they were called. I mean, we used to get lines, which was the same thing. Like a punishment exercise, certainly at my school, was just lines. That, you know what I mean? Or maybe like a creative teacher might ask you to write why you were being a prick in the classroom or something like that. You know?
Well, that's exactly it. It says here it could take the form of copying the dictionary, writing lines, or something else. I remember the same. I think I only ever got 2 when I was at secondary school, and one was lines. And I think I got that because it was me and 2 friends. We'd put remember those rubbers you would put on the end of your pencil?
Yeah.
They used to come off.
Yeah.
They were like in a triangle shape.
Yeah.
We'd cut a hole in one of them and stuck it on, they perfectly fitted on the water taps in the science lab. And we switched the tap on and used it as like a water pistol, like turning it around the class. And the teacher came in and gave us puniekis, so I had to do lines. And the second one I got was, I got caught writing a letter to a girl. Did you ever do that when you were at school?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was secondary school, like pass notes to girls and stuff, and then they would write back to you. Yeah, I was replying to one of her notes and I got caught, and then I had to write an essay about why I shouldn't have been writing in class or something.
Well, I mean, if that had been encouraged, you could have become a great romantic fucking diarist or poet or something like that. So they had your creativity shut down by a fucking narc teacher.
It was French though, and I was writing it in English. Maybe I should have just put je t'aime in it or something. And that would have been a bit better. Okay, number 3 on the list. TV on wheels. Come on, everyone remembers a TV on wheels. Yeah. You knew it was going to be a good day when the TV got rolled into class and you had to watch something.
Look and Learn.
It's usually shite. Look and Learn.
Look and Learn, was it shite? No, it wasn't Look and Learn, it was Look and Read. That was fucking brilliant. Like Dark Towers, The Boy from Space. Like, that was a fucking red letter day when they wheeled the TV in for the latest episode of Dark Towers.
Yeah. Next one on the list is gym benches, which I think is kind of a universal thing, isn't it? The most adaptable furniture in school. Benches were usually used for kids to sit on, or brought out for PE lessons, or used as boundary markers. Or sometimes they were put on the gym hall climbing frame.
Yeah, they build like a wee assault course, right? They would like hook it onto like a hobby horse or something. You'd have to sort of walk like in Gladiators, you know, like before they do the Travelator, you're walking along.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
Now, here's one we'll definitely remember, Greg. Wallpapering your jotters.
Yeah. My mum used to do it for me because I couldn't do it as neat. I couldn't do it as neatly as her.
This was a chance to express your individuality. After being handed the old council jotters, you could decorate them with your favourite wallpaper, wrapping paper, or pictures.
Well, you had to do it. I remember, like, it wasn't, you had no choice. that you had to do it.
And I remember progressing throughout school. It was wallpaper originally, or it was like brown paper, and then wallpaper, offcuts of wallpaper. And then by the time I was in secondary school, it was like posters from Kerrang! I used to wrap my jotters with. So I'd have like I think I remember my maths jotter being like a Nirvana Unplugged in New York poster.
I sometimes have like pages from like Shoot and stuff to cover my jotters as well.
Yeah, like just Davy Dodds looking down on you as you're doing your maths.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones grabbing Gaza by the balls. I remember some kids had like fucking really thick textured wallpaper on their books though. Do you know what I mean? Like it must have made their book weigh like 3 times as much as it weighed without the paper on it.
Next on the list, iron brew bars, 5p crisps and chocolate cigarettes.
They don't mention the old fag in a match from the ice cream van for 20p, no?
No. Not in primary school, Greg. Well, maybe in Glasgow, I don't know, but in Aberdeen, no. Secondary school before that got into. But yeah, the tuck shop was a trove of treats. The next one, and it depends on where you're from, and I guess they have written 3 options for this. Gutties, Plimsolls, Sannies.
Sannies for me.
Sannies?
West
Plimsolls for me.
I thought you called them gutties in the north of Scotland. No?
Maybe, but it was always... In fact, none of that. I called them gym shoes.
Gym shoes.
So although everyone had a different name for these shoes, they were united to us all because you had to have a pair for PE. So it's black elasticated shoes that had like a beige sole.
Yeah, and they only ever lasted you for like maybe 2 or 3 months because you were growing so quick. You know what I mean? Like they'd be a wee bit loose at the start of the year. By Christmas, you were fucking like, it took ages to get the fuckers on.
Yeah. Or you fucked them on the red ash pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list. Scottish country dancing.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I remember that all too well. Having to hold hands with a girl to do Scottish country.
Oh God. And fast forward a few years and you were in ecstasy. You'd be dying to fucking do the Dashing White Sergeant with one of those goth girls to... In Between Her by Sleeper or something. Different schools. So it was usually like a PE lesson, and it'd be the run up to Christmas something, and it led to many awkward moments with boys and girls forced to dance with each other, much to the amusement of their pals. But while that was mortifying as a youngster, these lessons have stood us in good stead for ceilidhs at weddings, parties and balls in later life.
That's very true.
Besides, who doesn't love a dashing white sergeant?
I think that's true. I will say that. I mean, I can still, like, I can do the Yates and Reel and the Dashing White Sergeant at a wedding, and it's probably because I learned when I was like fucking 6 or 7 in primary school. Yeah,
it's true. It does. Yeah, it does sit in good stead.
You used to have to do it if it was raining during PE. Keep you in the gym and make you do that.
And the last one on the list, heads down, thumbs up.
I fucking loved heads down, thumbs up. and I think I always wanted to get picked as the thumb presser, and I think I only got picked maybe once or twice because I was usually in trouble for not trying or talking or just generally being a fucking wee fanny class, so I hardly ever got picked. But yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah. I think it says here it might have been a Friday afternoon or the last day of term. I think we got to play it every Friday afternoon. But for whatever reason, if the teacher allowed the pupils to choose a game for them all to play, there was only one winner. Heads down, thumbs up. A fun break in the day for school kids and the teachers as they tried to work out which classmates had pressed their thumbs down whilst they held their face into the desk. Do you remember? I remember those plastic desks, having my head down and breathing and the condensation. Oh yeah, Jesus. That's just... took back. That's a fucking Vietnam flashback I've just had there of playing heads down, thumbs up.
Did you get milk at first break at primary school? Or was that finished?
I did initially, and then fucking Thatcher stole it away from us. But yeah, I did. The very first, when I was in primary 1 and 2, I think, and then maybe primary 3, and then it was gone because fucking witch stole it from us.
Well, that's the thing. I think it was gone from England first because I think she did it before she became Prime Minister. Because I remember getting milk at primary school and not really looking forward to it because it was always like ambient. It was never cold. And there was like a wee sort of cartoon of traffic lights on it, like sort of like character traffic lights.
Oh God,
remember that? Yeah.
Wow. Forgot about that. Yeah, I remember that.
So I think they gave us milk until maybe I was in primary 4, maybe, and then it just sort of stopped. But I don't remember there ever being. I mentioned maybe my memory's just not as good as it used to be. But I don't remember there have been any sort of, right, this is the last time he's getting milk, you know, or anything like that. I just sort of, I mean, maybe I thought that we just sort of grown out of getting milk for first break. I don't know.
That might be it. I mean, maybe, obviously they would have done it at the end of like a term time sort of thing. So you'd have come back after the summer and then maybe it was just explained that, oh, you're too old for milk.
Yeah.
And then there'd be the weird kid that was still getting breastfed.
You know, the weird kid whose ma was coming in, taking him to the toilets.
Anyway, so those are the things that we miss from primary school. Yeah. All right, Greg, have you seen anything else this week? I hope not, because it's
No. We're already an hour and 12 in.
Wonderful. Okay, right. Before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, let's have a little word from our sponsor. And our sponsor is Doric Skateboards, a skateboard brand created by Gary Kemp, whose main focus is to explore the people and culture of Aberdeen and the northeast of Scotland, creating designs to reflect life in that wonderful area that I hail from. Doric Skateboards screen print their own decks in their new studio by Gary's fair hand, and they have produced some amazing designs over the years, including an Annie Lennox-inspired board, a Robert the Bruce deck, and a Plenty of Pop deck inspired by the old Bonaccord trucks that used to drive around Aberdeen delivering fizzy juice. Doric Skateboards also replicate these amazing designs onto their clothing on 100% organic cotton tees, hoodies, and sweatshirts, and they also produce beanies, caps, mugs, pin badges, and stickers. Gary regularly collaborates with local artists to ensure he brings the latest designs to the market, but always with a Doric twist, including the latest butt redesign based on the famous Aberdeen Breakfast of Champions, and the beautiful Northfield Tower design, a love letter to the Eiffel Tower of Aberdeen. So check Doric Skateboards out for yourself at doricskateboards.com and follow them on Instagram at Doric Skateboards to see the amazing designs on offer. And we are delighted to be able to offer you 15% off as listeners to this podcast. All you need to do is head to doricskateboards.com, have a look at all the amazing decks, stickers, badges, hoodies and tees on offer, and enter the promo code SWALLY. That's SWALLY, same with its name as this podcast, all in block capitals, and get your 15% off. That's doricskateboards.com, link in the description of this episode. Okay, Greg, so it was your choice on this episode of The Swally. So why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
So as I mentioned a couple of times in the episode, and as I mentioned on the last episode, we're going to be in Scotland together next week, and you and I are going to meet up with the host of the Scots We Hae podcast that we did a bit of collaboration with back in the Scottish podcast collaboration of 2022. Ali recommended a few films to us, one of which we've done already, Danny the Dog, starring Jet Li and Bob Hoskins in Glasgow, which is just a combination, and Morgan Freeman. It's just a very unusual combination of components. But this is another film that he chose. So directed by Neil Marshall, who is director of Dog Soldiers, which we did, I think, Halloween 2022 for our spooktacular episode. It's 2008's Doomsday. So starring a host of Scottish talent, such as Rona Mitra, Bob Hoskins, Sean Pertwee, Martin Compson's in there too. So bizarrely is Cal Mackinac in a fucking Mackinench rather, in a blink and you'll miss it part there. Doomsday depicts a lethal virus which spreads through Scotland in the near future, infecting millions and killing hundreds of thousands of people. To contain the threat, the British government build a sort of modern Hadrian's Wall, brutally quarantining the country as society breaks down. Despite that, the quarantine is successful, but 3 decades later, the Reaper virus, as it's been named, violently resurfaces in London. So an elite group of specialists, including Eden Sinclair, played by Rona Mitra at her most badass, are dispatched into Scotland to retrieve a possible cure by any means necessary. So, this film is fucking bonkers. I had seen it before, but I saw it not long after it came out, and I didn't remember a great deal about it. You hadn't seen it.
No.
So what were your initial impressions of Doomsday?
Fucking bonkers. I don't know why I'd never seen it. I knew I was aware of it. and I knew it existed, but for some reason I'd never watched it. And it's a shame because obviously I'm a big fan of Marshall's like 2 earlier films, Dog Soldiers and The Descent, which are both low budget, amazing films. And in this, he got handed 3 times the budget of Dog Soldiers and The Descent combined to make this film. Yeah. And my God, did he use it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just is it a homage? Is it just ripping off? Is it just, he's just taken all the films he loved and been like, right, fuck it, I'll take a bit from here, a bit from here, a bit from here. Like, I mean, I counted, 28 Days Later, Resident Evil, Aliens, obviously Escape from New York.
Mad Max.
Excalibur, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Army of Darkness, Gladiator, The Warriors. The list goes on. I've probably missed quite a few. It's just, the plot is all over the place. The characters in this are fucking paper thin. But it's just fucking absolutely mental. And I can't say I didn't enjoy it. I have a few issues with it in terms of things. A lot of plot holes, a lot of bonkersness. Like I say, the characters are so one-dimensional. The few characters that I do actually care about end up getting killed off within minutes of meeting them. And you're like, why? She seemed like a great character, but just gets killed off. It's just mad, but it's kind of non-stop in a way as well. And it's a great premise, I think. Like, this is basically Neil Marshall saying, like, fuck you, Ting. Like, setting up Hadrian, and he's English. That's the thing.
But he's from Newcastle, and they all wish they were Scottish.
Setting up Hadrian's Wall and sealing off Scotland. It's like an extreme version of Brexit. The UK ends up getting shunned because of what they did to Scotland, because everyone loves the Scots. So, as they say at the start, the UK effectively gets shunned from the rest of the world because of what they did. What about you? What was your first impressions, and what did you think about rewatching it again?
Look, I agree with everything that you've said already, right? It is a deeply flawed film. If you compare it to Dog Soldiers, as much as it's Dog Soldiers is a brilliant sort of knockabout, not particularly original probably film, it's a great character film. You know what I mean? Like, the characters in Dog Soldiers are well established. So when one of them is killed by a werewolf, there's an emotional heft. You know what I mean? Depending on who the character is. In this, the only character that really gets any sort of exposition is Rona Mitra's character, Eden Sinclair. And and the only exposition she really gets is the little first scene at the beginning with the woman and the baby. We realise pretty quickly the baby was Eden when she was a baby, and she's taken on a helicopter by the soldiers out of the sort of quarantine zone, and her mum's left behind. And then there's a scene after the first little bit of action with her and Bob Hoskins, and it's such a contrived sort of scene that purely exists for us to know what a fucking hard ass Sinclair is and all the stuff she's done. Do you know what I mean? Now, we've just had a scene where she's taken out some criminals, so we already know that she's fucking handy, right? And I look at Bob Hoskins and I think, you were in some of the best films of the 1980s, like The Long Good Friday, A Lonely Place of Dying, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Cotton Club. You know what I mean? He was
Super Mario Brothers.
Not 1990s. But, I was like, he's better than, that you could argue that he's better than the character he played in Danny the Dog, right? As an actor. And because I think of the film that he did with Shane Meadows, and it was Shane Meadows' first film, 24/7. That we've seen that when he's running a boxing club, and it's all in black and white. Yeah. And it's a fucking brilliant film. And what makes it such a good film is that you've got this Hollywood star doing what is an art house film, right? And fucking leading the film, bringing it so much credibility, and being fucking... And his last scene, when he goes mental and knocks fuck out of Les Battersby from Coronation Street in that film, it's sort of classic fucking Hoskins and the type of characters he used to play, and obviously he's passed away now and everything. And I felt a bit sorry for him in this film because he's had to do this really weak scene with Rona Mitra, who is well and truly a fucking B-list actress. She's been cranking out films for fucking years, but, she's a B-list actress, right? And she always has been. And he's got to sit there on the stairs and fucking do this big scene with all this exposition about who's the lead character in the film. And I just, at least Malcolm McDowell, who's another fucking well-established actor, he's got a little bit of room to have a bit of fun and stuff later on in the film, but poor old Bob, he's just there to sort of explain stuff that the script is too weak to explain without a character actually saying it.
Can't remember what she looked like. All I have is a name and an envelope and an address of a place I can never go to.
I've watched you fight your way through the ranks tooth and nail, and it's made you so full of piss and vinegar. If you carry on the way you're going, you're going to wind up one seriously fucked up individual. Now do me a favour, please. Go home, get some rest.
But despite a really weak script and the kind of weak characters, I mean, it's fucking action packed. It's not too long, thankfully. It rattles on, rattles through at a fair old clip. And say what you like about Marshall, but these big action scenes that he does, he's very, very good at. They got him to direct a couple of episodes. I know you'd never watched it, but they got him to direct a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones, and there were episodes that had big battles in them, and he's fucking brilliant at all that. You know what I mean? It's really good. It's exciting. It's quick, but the script is dog shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I had heard that. Like, I did listen to a review on this, and they were speaking about Neil Marshall and how, it's a shame. He makes Dog Soldiers and The Descent, two films that are absolutely adored by horror fans.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, they say Dog Soldiers is probably the best werewolf movie, we've had since
American
Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
And The Descent is just such an incredible film. I don't think we'd ever be able to do that, really, because although it's an English director, okay, Shona McDonald is the lead.
It's got.
I never realised she was she's married to Cal McInerney.
Yeah, I
never realised.
It's also got one of the girls out the book group in it as well.
It does, yeah, Fist.
Yeah.
Fist from the book group. But this film, because it was so, it was 3 times the budget of the previous 2 films combined, and it was a massive flop.
Yeah.
And this kind of put him into Hollywood jail for a while. But the people that were speaking about it were massive Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah.
And they said that he directed probably the best episodes of Game of Thrones. I mean, I don't know, but they were like, just the episodes he did were just incredible.
Yeah.
So he's got an eye for it, and I agree with you. Some of the fight scenes and the battle scenes are fantastic. I do have a couple of grievances. There's one I would have liked to have been longer, and one I would have liked to have been shorter,
right, if
that makes sense, which we'll come back to. However, yeah, some of the set piece things are just fucking bonkers. And when you read about the stuff that was actually done, like towards the end, when she fucking drives the Bentley through the bus, they actually did that. And you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's all
like, it's incredible.
Most of it is in camera, and he wanted to use as little CGI as he possibly could get away with.
I mean, before we move on, let's come back to what you said about Bob Hoskins. Yeah, one of my notes here is Bob Hoskins massively underused. Yeah. He's such a great character and such a great actor. And you're right, it does feel quite convoluted the way he is speaking to Rhoda Mitra, even in the end scene as well, when she's like, how did you find me? He said, well, I used to be a cop, didn't I? It's, but when in fact, now you're right, because the scenes with her, he is a little bit, not wooden, but kind of, it does feel like he's trying to get something out of her, but failing. Whereas the other scenes, like when he's with David O'Hara, he's fucking brilliant. That speech he delivers about, which hits home so hard nowadays, when he's like, right, so you want to just keep everyone fucking inside and, let them kind of, I can't the exact words, but it's alluding to, a lockdown and people are going to, it's an incredible speech, and he's brilliant. And, even the scenes where he fairly shoots the guy that is trying to attack, and he's like, fuck, I was just trying to help.
It's all very well packing people into their homes like so many million sardines, but you drop a killer virus into that mix, and this town is going to go tits up in no short order. And once you start stacking bodies in the streets, there'll be panic, public disorder, looting, rape, murder. And that's just for starters. The death toll will be unimaginable. And by that time, there'll be absolutely fuck all we can do about it.
You have to think of the millions that we'll be saving.
Are you talking about people or pound notes?
You're right. He's brilliant in the scenes where he's not with Rona Mitra.
Well, that's the thing, and I do wonder about the edit, right? Because if you've got Hoskins, right, and you've got Pertwee, this was another actor we need to talk about. Like,
oh yeah,
you would have them in as much of the film as possible. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder if maybe they've been victims of the edit or something like that. Because Pertwee, I mean, what is the fucking point of getting an actor like Sean Pertwee for the part that he plays? He's got about 5 minutes of screen time, and then he gets fucking roasted alive at the big barbecue. Don't know what else to call it.
I mean, his death scene is great, but I was gutted when he died, because when he turned up, I'm like, yes, Sean Pertwee. I fucking love Sean Pertwee. And we spoke about him so much in Dog Soldiers. He's just got some of the best scenes in that film. Yeah. Like, he's the best character.
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah.
But to have him on board, you can only presume he's doing it as a favour for Neil Marshall. Maybe there was filming conflicts. I mean, I don't know, 2008. It was before Goth. Yeah, well before Gotham. So I don't know if he was doing something else, but I listened to, it was that same podcast I listened to about it, and it was two Americans, and they were like, yeah, Sean Pertwee, yeah, he seems quite cool. He was in Dog Soldiers. He could be the new Sean Bean. And I was like, fuck off. Sean Pertwee is fucking miles ahead of Sean Bean in terms of acting ability and films I would want to watch. Fucking give me ID over Sharp any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Sean Bean for what it's worth, but I've always thought
don't take his vape off him though.
I've always
be in trouble.
I've always thought that Sean Pertwee is a phenomenal actor. And there's been so many things that he's been in that I've seen him on the credit. I've seen him listed. Like, I watched the what's it called? The Tudors. You would never watch this, but
no, of course
I watched it, and saw he was in it, and he's literally in the first maybe 3 minutes of the first episode before someone fucking runs him through with a sword, and I'm like, what the fuck is what the fuck? I mean, at least like with Gotham, you know, the producers and writers saw that this guy's a fucking great Alfred, and when I watched The Batman with Robert Pattinson, I thought Andy Serkis was pretty good as Alfred, but there was a lot of Sean Pertwee's Alfred and Serkis's Alfred, you know what I mean? Like, you got Michael Caine before, Michael Gough. Michael Gough played it very sort of posh, traditional, sort of Downton Abbey butler type guy. Michael Caine, he was really good, Michael Caine, but he went it a little bit differently. Whereas Pertwee in Gotham you feel like he is a guy that at one time in his life was a fucking handy cunt, and now and now he's, and you kind of feel that, I know that there's a few stories in Gotham that explores his history before. In fact, is there not an episode with David O'Hara, who's an old?
I think there is. Who's
actually. He's an old comrade,
old SAS kind of partner with him.
Yeah.
You're right, actually. Yeah, there is. I guess they had to do that for Gotham because obviously it's like young Bruce Wayne, so you need to have a handy cunt to protect him. Whereas I'd agree exactly as you say. Like Michael Gough, it's almost like a bumbling kind of, you know, Master Bruce. It's like Grandad from Only Fools and Horses, and maybe a bit more switched on.
Yeah.
Kane, you can kind of tell he used to be a little bit of a hardy cunt, but not anymore. Who else? Who are you missing?
Serkis.
From the Zack Snyder, Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, he's quite good. He
was Affleck's Alfred.
I quite liked Irons in the role, and he plays it a wee bit differently again. But like Pertwee is, you know, I think he's really good, and he obviously gets a lot longer with the character than any of those other actors you've mentioned, because there's like 5 or 6 seasons of Gotham, and they're all all long seasons, like 18, 20 episodes, something like that. So he gets longer. But I did feel like there was, when I went to see The Batman at the cinema, and obviously Andy Serkis is playing the character, I thought I can see a wee bit of Sean Pertwee's performance and what you're doing, and you know, they're both from the same part of the world, I suppose, like they're both Londoners and everything, but yeah, I just think, you know, you've got an actor like Sean Pertwee, and even Martin Compston, you know, I know he was still young and he was still kind of paying his dues and stuff when he was in this, but he lasts 7 minutes, you know?
Yeah. I was really shocked. Like, he gets shot with the arrow, and I'm like, okay, he's not dead. Like, they're gonna take him back. No, that's him. You don't see him again. Yeah, I was really surprised at that, to just kill him off. There's so many characters that they do this to, though. Like, for example, when they make a big thing of Rona Mitra, and I'd written this down in my notes, that I don't give a fuck about Eden, because she's a character that is so one-dimensional. I don't care about her. I don't know anything. All right, she lost her eye when she was a kid and her mum left her. Fine. But there's nothing else to her character. And I put that as a detriment of she doesn't really have anyone to bounce off of. And it's because she's only really got those scenes with Hoskins. And as I've just said, even now, that's Hoskins' worst 2 scenes in the film. So it's probably to her detriment. She's shite. But they kill off like some great characters, like Sean Pertwee, as I've said. Reed, who is the female driver of the ATV. Like, okay, I wanted to see more of her. She seemed like a really cool, when she comes out of the dock and she says like something about, them being all armor plated and stuff. Like, you're like, okay, she's cool. And when she's driving it, she's a badass. They just fucking kill her off with a fucking arrow through the throat.
Well, that's the other thing.
And the same
these vehicles are supposed to be state of the art, fucking double hard. And someone manages to smash the fucking driver's windscreen with a bottle or something like that.
They're fucking made out of paper mache by the looks of things. Like, they're fucking terrible. And the same as Chandler, the other driver of the ATV. The dude who goes out to rescue the girl and then comes back in and gets his throat cut. He seemed like a fucking great character. I want to see more of him. I want to see him. I want to see Pertwee. I want to see a lot more of Reed, the female ATV driver. But I just want to see more of them because they were really interesting characters. I don't want to see, nothing against Darren Moffat, who was Spoon in Dog Soldiers, who plays the other doctor. But again, they didn't do enough with him. He seemed like a bit of a wet lettuce towards the end and stuff.
All the way through, he's a bit of a a bit of a say no to violence kind of guy, isn't he? He's,
and then the same with like even Norton, the other guy, when it's just like basically the 3 of them. Okay, he seemed to have a little bit of bottle about him, but again,
it's like Adrian Lester's character, Norton. Yes, but that's again. Adrian Lester is a fucking brilliant actor, and he only really gets something to do towards the end, like in Act 3, and he doesn't even make it out the fucking castle. You know what I mean? I mean,
they make it into the bunker,
to make it out the big warehouse. I mean, to say,
He does deliver a great line. I can't remember what's the exact wording of it, but it is when they're breaking out of the castle, when they've got Carl Mackinac and stuff, and they've got the weapons, and he says something like, "Don't be a silly bugger. I haven't got time to fuck around." And okay, there's a bit of something about you. And then when he's getting the blast doors and stuff, you're like, okay, cool. And then he gets fucking 3 arrows in the back and he's dead as well. And I'm like, great, who's left for me to care about in this film? Saul. And he fucking dies. And we'll come back to that as well. But I mean, the only other character I kind of even really cared about was Callie, and that was only because I found her very attractive as well.
Which one was Callie? Oh, she was the Saul's sister. Yeah.
I just found it difficult to care about the characters, but the interesting ones all got killed off. Why do that to me?
I know.
It's like watching, this film was such a homage to all of his favourite films. It's like killing off Hudson, Hicks and Vasquez within the first 10 minutes of Aliens.
Yeah, no, it's exactly like that. It's bizarre. I don't know. Yeah. And like, again, I wonder if there's like a director's cut of this film, like somewhere.
Maybe. Well, there's an unrated cut, which is the one I watched, which is only like, I think about 6 minutes longer than the theatrical cut.
Right, okay. I don't know which one.
And it's a little bit more gore. I don't know. I'll mention a couple of things and maybe see. Did you see the boobs in the bath? Yeah, you probably watched the unrated cut then.
Yeah.
I think that's the easy question to ask. So I find it really difficult to care about the characters.
The other thing that he does that I think takes away from the film is that it begins quite seriously. It feels like the first maybe half an hour is taking itself very seriously, right? So you've got like the opening, I've written in my notes, like the opening scene is fucking brutal, right?
It's horrific.
People getting, like innocent people running for their lives getting shot. A guy gets his arm taken off by the doors closing. A baby, like a little toddler gets fucking shot in the eye. It's brutal. And then it goes on to this scene where we see the grown-up Sinclair taking out the criminals, and one of our comrades gets half of his head blown off with a shotgun.
Which is brutal.
Very brutal. We see a rabbit getting fucking blown up by like a high velocity automated machine gun. And you're thinking to yourself, right, this film is this is going to be a harrowing, serious consideration of, what could happen potentially, in the future or whatever. Like, it's taking itself very seriously. And then as the film goes on, it feels like it's not taking itself as seriously. Like, when we meet, when the guys, the survivors, are like captured by the fucking, like, the cast of the fucking Duran Wild Boys video, right? And there's this, and we're expected to believe that Sean Pertwee Sean Pertwee's body is going to be able to feed about 300 people and all this kind of thing. It's like, I don't think this film's taking itself very seriously. And then we get another fucking change of tone when they escape into the countryside and they're picked up by Malcolm McDowell's, and you got guys in horseback and full armour, and not just full armour, like even Malcolm McDowell, his character's obviously found some medieval clothes that he's decided to wear, and so is Cal McInnes. He's like just found like some sort of under armour padded studded suit and thought, I'm going to fucking wear this since we're playing at being knights and damsels in distress and all this sort of stuff. And I just think to myself, this film isn't taking itself seriously anymore,
No, I mean, well, obviously the first clue for me, you're right, it is a very serious kind of toned film up until they meet Saul, effectively. Yeah. And then when he's dancing to Fine Young Cannibals, with the strippers.
So right on the nose, right on the nose,
It couldn't be more. And then for the rest of the film, it is bonkers. I mean, as you say, but then when they meet, like, Cal McInnes' character, his introduction, he walks out of a doorway and the sign on the door next to him says gift shop.
Yeah.
And so, that is a piss take in terms of obviously, the castle and stuff that they've overtaken. I did write down, funnily enough, you just mentioned this, how the tone changes so much. Like, could you imagine if you were to see this at the cinema, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm watching this film and it's all set up that way. And then let's say they get on the train and they're going, you're like, right, okay, I'm going to go for a quick piss.
Yeah.
And you go for a pee and you come back and then all of a sudden they're in a fucking castle with all medieval stuff. You'd be like, have I walked into the wrong screen?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here?
I've taken my date. I've taken my date from Triple Kirks to see a film.
This isn't right. I've walked into fucking Life of Brian or something.
I know.
Yeah, it's mental, but it does completely change the tone. And you're right, it's so on the nose that they're playing Fine Young Cannibals and he's dancing with these strippers and then, barbecue Sean Pertwee alive. And you're right, that was one of the worst scenes. And I mean, it is obviously just undercooked pork that they're like ripping into. You see all the hands, but you're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. But that's the thing. They don't fuck around with the gore in this film either.
Loves it.
There's a lot of it, and a lot of it is well done. Like, as you say, one of the worst parts is when the guy gets his half his face blown off with a shotgun. Yeah. And it's so well done because you're kind of not expecting it when he's backing away. You're like, okay, so Eden's away to shoot him. But he just kind of trips and blows his head off. You're like, that is fucking brilliant. That is genius that's happened because you never see that in a film, really. Apart from something like you've...
Wild at Heart.
You were mentioning earlier, like Snatch or like Lock, Stock. There's
I don't think they would even...
I don't think
they would even have something quite... I don't think Guy Ritchie would have something quite as graphic. Like, I think there's a scene in... There's a scene in the Nicolas Cage film Wild at Heart, like the David Lean film, where somebody gets like a big chunk of their head removed with a shotgun.
Yes.
And I've not seen that film for so long, I can't quite remember the context or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is, because I really think there's a bit of he could have put a bit of social commentary into this film, right? And the thing is, right, if you think about it, in the years since this film came out, we've had the fucking COVID pandemic, and and we had to isolate, quarantine. If some countries, if you arrive, like Australia, if you arrived in Australia, you had to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks before you could go out. There was curfews in the UK and other countries and stuff. With the benefit of having lived through that, looking at the film, you could have had a wee bit of social commentary in there. So, like, Hadrian's Wall, for anybody overseas who's not familiar, was a Roman wall built because Scotland was the only part of the UK that the Romans couldn't fucking lock down, basically, because it was populated by mad cunts called the Celts, right? That fought back and tried to sort of raid parts of, the north of England and everything. So Hadrian's Wall was built maybe about 10, 15 miles north of Newcastle, and there's still bits of the wall left. So the film's contention is a new Hadrian's Wall is built to quarantine Scotland. Now, the way that Scotland considers itself as being treated by Westminster, a lot of the tropes that the SNP lean into, but equally a lot of the tropes that the fucking Scottish Labour have leaned into over the years when they were the more sort of dominant party. There could have been a lot of that sort of invoked in this story about, and the only thing he does really that I quite smile to myself about, especially given the reception the Scotland fans have had in Germany over the Euros, is how England is completely pariahed by the rest of the world because of the way it's treated Scotland. And I thought, that feels like that would probably happen because the rest of the world definitely likes us a lot more than they like England, so I just thought, it could have been quite an interesting sort of film and still had those moments of excitement and everything else, but it just seemed more interested in the sort of second 2 acts of the film. It just feels like he was more interested in paying homage to the movies that he liked when he was younger, like the ones that you've mentioned already, like Mad Max and Aliens and The Warriors and Escape from New York and all that sort of stuff. Then, I feel like he's missed a bit of an opportunity to make what could have been quite an interesting and still exciting film. Well,
it kind of is, as you say, like the beginning, it is very much almost a social commentary and it is a very different tonal film. And towards the end, it is literally just like, right, we're going to be on this kind of desert road. Let's have this car. Let's have a fucking police interceptor coming behind her. Yeah. And then there's a guy. Let's play 2 tribes.
But the police interceptor is a fucking Citroen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite as good. So, as you'd mentioned before, Eden, Rona Mitra's character, I mean, we've already spoken about Rona Mitra, such as you said, she was a C-list actress. I mean, most famously, I would say she was known for playing Lara Croft as a promotional aspect. That's all she's really been known as, and again, that podcast I listened to, they were like, oh yeah, she would have been really good as playing Lara Croft. And I'm like, you guys have no idea. Because she kind of was before Angelina Jolie, although I've never really seen those films. I can't stand Jolie. I have watched the Alicia Vikander ones because I like her a lot.
But that Tomb Raider film she's in is good, by the way. It's a good film.
Yeah, it was, but she's never really kind of made it as a big actress, but although she's been churning them out and stuff, but no, right. But so as she's a kid, she gets her eye. It's never for if it's shot out or if it a bit of shrapnel or something, but she loses her eye. And she gets given this electronic kind of eye, which she can pop in and out. It's got a camera in it, and she's got effectively an early version of an Apple Watch that she can look at the footage and stuff.
I know, she never even gives that eye a wee wipe on her trousers before she fucking gets back in it.
It's exactly what I've got written down here, Greg. Fucking that eye is going everywhere. It's rolling down the floor. She never fucking wipes it down or sanitizes it before she pops it back in. I know it was quite well used, but then it was a little bit overused at some points as well. Here we go. She's going to use that eye again to see down the corner. I mean, to be fair, if I had that eye, I'd probably do the same. I did like the one time I really liked it though was when she was escaping from the cell and the kind of guard was fiddling about with her watch, and then he suddenly sees her
behind him,
him, and then she just fucking leathers it. That was well done. But a lot of the rest of it, I don't know. She was always popping that in and out.
Yeah.
And she obviously does that a lot because it was one of the first things Hoskins says to her. I'll never get used to that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Another question I was going to ask you, right? Why do creative people think that if society crumbles, everybody's going to turn into a fucking Vivienne Westwood campaign? Do you know what I mean? Why?
Yeah,
Why
it's the easiest thing to go with, like punks and stuff. Like, and I don't quite understand if that's just maybe the thought process that everyone's going to hark back to, but why? You know, you're right. It's the same with Mad Max and stuff. Like everyone punks now, and that was one of my things. Right, so they're having to eat people because they're cannibals. There's fucking hundreds of cows out there.
Yeah.
Why don't you eat the cows?
Exactly.
And unless they've got the taste for meat, I don't know. But in a world where obviously you can't get meat, although you can because there's loads of cows, but they've obviously got access to fucking hunters of hairspray and hair dye.
And 30
because they're all able to
30-year-old cans of Tennants as well, evidently.
yes. I did like that. Yeah, nice little can of Tennants. It's so surprising that it's kind of that's what everyone harks back to. But then he had a bit of both in this. We had medieval times as well.
But he jumps on some very stereotypical tropes that turn up in these films. So like at the beginning, when society's breaking down, you've got people with signs. It's the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's the end of the world. Then you've got cannibalism, even though, as you've rightly pointed out, for some reason we have a scene that doesn't make any sense where they run over a cow. No. Right? Fucking waste of time. And it's that whole fucking scene is completely pointless. And then, okay, there's horses, right? Evidently, plenty of horses. So, I mean, I could be alone here, right? But in that sort of situation, before I ate a person, I would much rather eat a horse.
You know, Findus were feeding them to us for years.
Exactly. So. I wouldn't relish, I'm not French. I wouldn't relish the prospect of eating a horse, but it's far, far preferable to eating a person, you know? And like
I'm sure a bit of mustard, it'll be fine.
Like I said before, I'm not sure that Sean Pertwee was going to feed all those people that were gathered for that fucking concert. And then unseasoned, you know?
Well, and the fact they burnt him in his fucking clothes as well. So you've got leather or fucking PVC and body armor stuck to
overalls.
So, yeah, that's going to be a bit, no. Like getting a bit of tinfoil on your Kit Kat or something. It's not good. I don't want to come back to killing off best characters and stuff, but Viper.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
She was brilliant.
And all I can say is that her and Eden had like a little skirmish, effectively, and she got wiped out quite quickly, which was a shame. However, very cool death scene. Yeah. Decapitated, and I did like the fact that her eyes were still blinking when she, like, as Callie drops her head, the eyes and the thing are still blinking. I like that. That's the scene I would like to have seen a little bit more of, but then taken out a bit of the scene where she meets Kane's execution.
Yeah.
Like that fight was too long for my liking. Yeah. So I would have added maybe a couple more minutes in the Viper scene and taken a couple of minutes out of the executioner scene.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. I mean, that, you never got the impression that Sinclair was in trouble when she was fighting Viper.
No.
You know what I mean? You didn't get that, they sort of established Viper as being hard as a coffin nail. And, you would think, well, they've already tried to establish that Eden is as hard as a coffin nail too. So it should have been like you say, it should have been a longer, more precarious sort of fight for our heroine. You know what I mean? But she fucking dispatches her pretty easily with a wee bit of help from the lovely Callie.
But I did like it later on where Saul's driving and he's got Viper sat next to him in the passenger seat. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought she was dead. Yeah. And then she gets the arrow through the head. Like, I did laugh. And then when the head drops off after the car crash, that did give me a little bit of a titter, I have to.
But again, that's just the tone of the film going in this fucking weird direction. You know what I mean? Because the violence at the beginning of the film, at the very beginning, is pretty shocking, right? Because of the context that it's happening in. Desperate people fleeing a sort of quarantine zone. Or even like when they take out the criminals in the kind of dockyard. But then, the violence later on in the film, especially in the scene where they're driving the Bentley and Saul's crew are pursuing them, it's like, well, I mean, it's just this comic book violence at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole, it's like he's just literally lost the plot and thought, I just want to fucking titillate and have exciting incidents happening, and they fuck the plot, you know?
I mean, look, I'm not against that last car chase because it is pretty cool.
It's brilliant.
And there are moments, however, there are a couple of points I have issues with. Like, well, the main point I have is that fight in the car where there's Saul and the other guy and they're all legs are sticking out the window and stuff. That dragged on far too long for me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like that bit. I'd like the chasing. Although it's cheesy as fuck, I did like the part where, I can't remember the character's name, but Spoon from Dog Soldiers is kind of has the wheel and he turns and sees the gimp strapped to the front of the van. And he's like, do you like pain, do you? And shoves him off the road. Again, poor gimp, that's him dead. But I thought that was quite amusing and quite funny. And then, of course, going through the bus and Saul's head smacking into the camera, that was good. That's nice, but you're right. Tonally, from the first 15, 20 minutes compared to the last 15, 20 minutes, it's just a completely different film.
I think by that time, you're just, right, I'm just going to sit back and try and just enjoy this. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at, I think by that point, you realise that you're not going to find anything more introspective. It's just, right, this is just a fucking free-for-all. Let's just enjoy it and let's just go with the flow.
One thing that this sums up quite a lot of the film for me. One thing I was really impressed with, however, glaring error or plot hole or mistake, and there's quite a few things to talk about in the film about this. So when Sinclair escapes the punks and she and Kane's daughter, they arrange to rendezvous with her team at Queen Street Station. Yeah. When they get into the station, it's a beautifully designed set, but that's very clearly Central Station.
Yeah, well,
that they're in.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Well, I mean, it's they're in South Africa, aren't they? Because they can not a lot of the. Well, yeah, it was only the countryside that was filmed in Scotland.
I was very impressed with the design of that station because instantly I'm like, that's Central Station. Like I can recognise it. I've been there many a time, but I was like, that's not Queen Street. She clearly said Queen Street Station. But, yeah. I mean, of course, the other thing is, she's getting. We won't even start on the Bentley that's been in storage for 30 years, but yet somehow starts and the tyres aren't worn and the petrol, which only keeps for 6 months, is still fine, and the Bentley starts first time and it's wonderful and all that. And then, of course, she gets a mobile phone fresh from a box. With no SIM card. It's not linked to a network. It's in a country that has no mobile phone signal, but she's able to call Bob Hoskins. Oh, and it won't be charged.
Yeah.
But she can charge it in the car, which battery is probably dead anyway. We'll allow that kind of to... I'm like, really? Come on, man. Come on.
Well, I had to...
You've paid so much attention earlier to stuff.
I did have to laugh a wee bit at some of what people have written on IMDb about the car, because people have they've been quite upset in their telling of what you've just said about the car. Well, actually, I think you'll find that if a car's been in storage for 30 years, the battery will be flat and the tyres will deteriorate, and you're very lucky to get the start first time, even if you were to plug the battery in. I'm just thinking, mate, all right, I mean, by this point, you realise that this film is fucking bananas anyway. It's like the baby's been thrown out with the fucking bathwater by this point, so I think we can forgive a little bit of poetic license when the trade-off is a fucking brilliant car chase. You know what I mean?
One bit, I'm actually thinking maybe earlier the silliness starts, but it was one bit that I thought was pretty fucking good, but it's ridiculous, is when they are in Glasgow and they're in the facility when they first get attacked before they escape, and they take the elevator and they use the foam grenade to cushion the blow. That is ridiculous, but also I'm kind of like, it's quite cool.
I'm there for it. Yeah. That's the thing.
I'm there for it.
I'm there for it. If it's like, and the thing is, if you think about like aliens, right? So aliens need you to believe that all this is happening in the far future. Like cryo sleep, deep space exploration, fucking bitchin' guns, what they call movement trackers, those little mini radar handheld things and stuff. And it kind of sells it to you without you really realising that you're being sold anything, because it sort of sets the film in a time zone, and builds this universe of what was essentially fossil fuel tankers But instead of sailing up the Panama Canal, they're going like thousands of light years through space. You know what I mean? So there's a whole fucking universe that's just given to you and developed very subtly but very pointedly as well. Whereas in this, it starts off with this cool tech, like you say, foam grenades, APCs, which are taken, like, lifted straight from Aliens, like straight.
Oh yeah, it's completely.
Apart from the fucking massive windscreen, like a fucking Range Rover, but otherwise, like, lifted straight from Aliens. And then it's all about low tech toward the end. We go from that to fucking guys in suits of armor to mobile phones that apparently work as soon as you fucking take them at the box, that you've said, and like a really nice Bentley, which apparently can fucking crash through a school bus with very, very little damage to it. You know,
they actually did that though.
I know,
they did
it's
Bentley,
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to take anything away from, like, you're right, it does go on a wee bit. When Saul's is on the car, it goes on a wee bit too long. I do completely agree. But it's also like a really exciting fucking cool car chase. Like, I just watched Furiosa last week, the Mad Max Fury Road prequel, and the way that they do the sort of chase scenes in that film, the way George Miller does the chase scenes in that film, is just fucking brilliant. Like, so well done. And I think that it's fair to say that the car chase and I know that, again, it's Neil Marshall paying homage to George Miller and the Mad Max films specifically, but it measures up pretty well to, because I think George Miller does a lot of that stuff in camera too. You know, like, there's a lot of like proper stunts and stuff going on both in Fury Road and Furiosa, and obviously, as you've mentioned, this is all done in camera too. So, and I think it measures up quite favourably with those films. But it's just you know, like the constant changes in tone, taking itself very seriously and the thing is, like, the payoff when O'Hara's character is discovered for being like a real villain, you know, it's a good payoff, you know, and we get a bit of resolution for Sinclair, although by that point we don't really give a fuck, you know, but she finds her tenement flat where she lived when she was a baby and everything else, and Hoskins turns up and she taps a cigarette off him because, you know, got to have a wee bit of comedy in there, you know, so all that kind of works out quite well. But you just have about 45 minutes or so where, you know, it's like a different film.
Yeah, but then what's happening in the end? Like, she has, I mean, I guess Hoskins does say he's going to come for you because she has fucked Canaris over. Yeah. And I guess that's why she's gone back there, because that's the only place she can go. Yeah. But then everyone else they all accept her, kind of thing. She's just killed their leader effectively, but they're like, yay, fuck it.
Yeah, we'll follow anybody that's fucking mental.
Yeah, right, who we're cooking now? Oh, well, I'll pass some cows there, we can maybe use them. But yeah, I guess that's why she's gone back there. Didn't make that connection, because I was a bit bemused by the ending of, like, why would she do that? But I because Canaris is going to be after her. Yeah,
she got a wee taste of human flesh maybe by accident early on, and she liked what she tasted. Maybe, who knows?
Maybe. Yeah,
so let's
think so.
So let's talk about David O'Hara, right? Because David O'Hara's a fucking very good actor, very good actor, and he's been in some huge films. The filmmaker wants us to believe that a Scottish man is quite now. When he wants us to believe that a Scottish man is quite happy to close down all the access to central London and let it eat itself, I can believe that, right? You know, and when we're asked to think that as a high stakes situation, you know, like central London being turned into a massive quarantine zone, is that the worst thing that could happen? You know, probably not. But, you know, David O'Hara, a Scottish guy who is basically the puppet master in keeping the protagonists north of the modern Hadrian's Wall, where they are, and reaching for power in England. I just think, you know, as much as I love David O'Hara, maybe get an English actor to play that part, you know? Because I could believe it.
Why? Okay. You don't want the nice Scotsman to have to do that then?
No, I mean, David O'Hara was born in Glasgow. You know, I think I can never understand why they got him to play the Irish guy in Braveheart. Of all the parts...
Yeah, it's always bemused me.
Yeah, of all the parts he could have played in that film, and don't get me wrong, it's one of the best parts. And he's really...
Oh, yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
So good in it. I don't know. It's strange having David O'Hara.
I mean...
in that part.
It delivers a great performance in this.
Oh,
you know, he's
fantastic.
He's chewing up the scenery. He's having a time of his life doing this. And yeah, turns out obviously he's the big baddie, but he gets his comeuppance in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, great performance. And the same as, I guess, the other person we haven't really hugely spoken about is Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Who has a good few minutes. And I mean, they build up Kane quite well. Like, he's spoken about this larger than life character, but then it's just Malcolm McDowell pretending to be a fucking laird in his castle at the end of the day.
Yeah. Malcolm McDowell's another sort of strange proposition as an actor, because he's been in some absolutely iconic films, like If, obviously Clockwork Orange, you know, Caligula, which probably not one that he's particularly proud of these days. But, you know, and then he turns up in fucking those horrendous remakes of Halloween by Rob Zombie, which are just fucking absolute dog shit. You know, like occasionally you see him in something quite credible, and then he just turns up in some what we used to call in our fucking Triple Kirks days straight to video sort of films, you know.
Yeah,
and it's I think and he is. I've always thought he's a fantastic actor. I mean, although he's probably best remembered for Clockwork Orange. If you've ever seen Lindsay Anderson's film If, that he's in when he's quite a young guy before Clockwork Orange, he's fucking absolutely brilliant in it. Like, outstanding.
That's masterpiece.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in that. Like I say, I love him from A Clockwork Orange, but If, his performance in that is just something else. Yeah, amazing.
Interestingly, the actor who plays the Prime Minister is his nephew, Alexander Siddig. Interestingly, fact there for the fact fans.
The answer is easy. In the land of the infected, the immune man is king.
So if this is just a power trip, why stay hidden? Why not show yourselves?
You think we chose to cast off the apparel of our former existence? No. We didn't choose anything. We were delivered. These walls around you, they were built to last, and so shall we. What we've built here from the ashes is pure blood, uninfected by the outside world. Until now.
I did read one comment online which made me laugh that said that the Glasgow portrayed here is not far off Glasgow city centre on a Saturday night after an Old Firm match.
That is absolute racism. Who the fuck said that?
I think it's probably a Glasgow native who said that, because they're used to it, I would imagine. I don't know if you burn each other and eat them, so I don't know if that's the
Maybe
case.
the Rangers fans.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. An odd film, I would say this. You know, like lots and lots to enjoy. Mercifully, it's not a big commitment. It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something. You know what I mean? It rattles along.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I watched it twice. That's why I watched it one afternoon, and then I watched it again to make my notes. And I did enjoy it both times. And I would say I noticed things the second time that I hadn't noticed the first time, which is always the mark of a good film.
Yeah.
And it is fucking bonkers. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But it would be the type of film if I was scrolling through channels and
it was on.
And if I knew, there's one of the set pieces is coming up, then I would probably watch it. And that's kind of what it is. It's a film of set pieces, really. But, I mean, that's what a lot of films now are. That's all the Mission Impossible films are. And set pieces.
And the Marvel films, arguably, right?
Yeah.
It's
all set pieces with a little bit of storyline woven in between. And that's what this is. But I think the reason that it is so bonkers and odd is because just exactly as you've said a few times, the shift in tone is so insane at points that you're like, what? What even is this? How is this? Why have we gone from this to this? But don't know. absolute bonkers, but yeah, it's worth a watch, I would say.
I think he's, like I said before, I think it's a real missed opportunity. I think it could have been something a bit more interesting, could have had a little bit more to say about some of the old politics between Scotland and England. Could have been a bit of a sort of look what could happen, if there was like a pandemic or whatever. Like obviously, hopefully we never have a fucking pandemic like the Reaper virus, but we've had a pandemic since this film came out, and it wasn't sending people into fucking spotty frenzies, but it was still pretty fucking grim, I think but I would urge anybody who's not seen it to certainly watch it, because there's a lot to enjoy.
That's one thing I would say, and this is going to sound terrible to say it, and I don't mean this to come out the way it's probably going to come out, but I did quite like the Reaper virus. Given the fact it actually kills people rather than turns them into zombies or reanimates them, I thought that was more well done in terms of a film like this. You would normally expect that they would become zombies and stuff, but actually just kills them, which I thought was, quite well done. But it does kill them in a horrible fucking way. Yeah, exactly. So, is it time to put Doomsday through our coveted Swally Awards? I don't know who covets them, but I'm always going to say they're coveted. We covet them. So yeah, let's do it. What's up first? I ask that every week. I know it's always the Bobby the barman, but I like to ask it. Yeah, well, there's no pub, unfortunately, is there in this? No. So no pub. No. So then, moving swiftly on to our next award, the James Cosmo Award, patron saint of the Swally, for being in everything Scottish. So obviously it's not Bob Hoskins. No. Could be controversial, because you did mention a blink and you miss it role, but I think he's got a bigger role than a lot of others. Yeah. I went with Cal McInach. I actually went with Cal McInach as well. The only other real contender would probably be Martin Compston, but I feel like Cal McInach is more prolific when it comes to Scottish productions, albeit he might turn up in a small role, but he's still there. Yeah, so I gave it to him too. He is always usually the kind of brooding heavy next to the main villain. Yeah, exactly. And crucially, he follows our Instagram account, so if that's not a good excuse to award it to him, I don't know what is. Right, next then is the Jake McQuillan Your Tease Out Award. Many choices here. Interested in what you decided should win the award. Yeah, it was tough to pick because there are a lot. I ultimately went with the executioner getting a pickaxe to the head, which I thought was a bit of a tease-out, but there was many choices. Yeah, I don't think there's any one. I think there's any one that could really be a decisive winner. I went with Viper getting decapitated at the door to the cell. Okay. Yeah. But there's tons. Could be the guy getting his face blown off in the first sort of 10-15 minutes. Could be the guy getting his arm cut off by the mechanical door on the new Hadrian's Well. Yeah. Next then, a much easier one to legislate, the Hugh McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity. It's the woman with her boobs in the bath, isn't it? Just casually grabbing the shotgun while she's soaping herself and shooting away. And apparently it's quite common to have like a Victorian bath in a dockyard as well. Just so there we go. Do you know what that scene reminded me a little bit of? That whole scene. You know the beginning of Dawn of the Dead, the original George Romero one with the police when they storm the building? Yeah. It's sort of reticent of that scene, you know, I thought. A little bit, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Okay, next one then. And again, there's a few choices here. The Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing. What did you go for? I went with the conversation about Saul and Malcolm McDowell's character when they say that is one fucked up family, because I feel like I've heard that elsewhere in other productions. It's Norton that says it, and it's when Saul Callie says that Saul's her brother, and that Kane's their dad. And Norton says that is one fucked up family. That is exactly what I've got written down. Well, you went with the same one. Oh, right. I did, funny. Yeah. Next one then, archetypal Scottish moment. This is a few. It's got to be the distrust of the English government, isn't it? Yeah, I've written rioting. But also devotion to the old yellow tin of tenants. Yeah. Yes. Men in kilts doing the can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the very rapid collapse of society when left to our own devices, some anti-SM people might argue. Okay, then, and last one, then, the Big Tam Award. Who wins the movie for you?
I mean, it's tough. I can't really give it to Sean Pertwee, although probably should, because he does, but it's David O'Hara wins it for me. I think it's quite a good performance. I can't give it to Rona Mitra because the character is so one-sided. Bob Hoskins isn't enough. I've given it to David O'Hara. Or what about you?
I mean, I gave it to Neil Marshall just for getting the film made, because if you think about it, right,
true,
this is a British production, and it's although the film has its problems, which we have discussed at length over the last hour or so, but to get a British film made, massive cast, huge sets, incredibly violent, and some fucking fantastic actors in there. Like McDowell, Hoskins. I've always thought David O'Hara's a very good actor. Like, I love him as Fitzy in The Departed. I think he's really good in that. You know what I mean? This is a guy that could be doing fucking an episode of Luther one day and then is called up for a Martin Scorsese film where he's acting with people like Martin Sheen and Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio. And he's just such a fucking good actor. So to get those guys together and be able to put, as flawed as it might be, his vision for a post-apocalyptic homage to evidently all his favourite films, I think that deserves a fucking pat on the back, whether it's a particularly good film or not, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Fair enough, yeah.
Well then, so that was Neil Marshall's 2008 film Doomsday. You know, if you've not seen it, you might think that we've spoiled it. I think if you start watching it, it's pretty predictable. But there's worse ways to spend an hour and 3/4. Anyway, it was my choice to pick Doomsday, which means that the bottle of decision spins its way back to you. So what am I going to be watching on my 7-hour flight from Dubai to Glasgow on Tuesday next week?
Well, Craig, this episode will be released on Thursday, the 25th of July. And the next day, this episode as in Doomsday. Yes. And the next day is the beginning of the 2024 Paris Olympics. So we're a little late with what we wanted to look at because the next one won't come out till the 8th of August, which is 3 days before the closing ceremony of the Olympics. But it'll still fall in the window, so it still counts. So I'd like to look at a film about a Scotsman who actually represented Great Britain at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. However, the film doesn't cover the Olympic period. It instead covers a period of his life a few years prior to the Olympics. So I'm going with a 2006 film starring Johnny Lee Miller, the always wonderful Laura Fraser, Hobbit little bastard Billy Boyd, and of course, cheeseburger mogul himself, Brian Cox, telling the story of cyclist Graham Aubrey as he attempts to take the world 1-hour distance record. And the film is The Flying Scotsman.
Brilliant. I've never seen it. Have you seen it?
No, never seen it.
I look forward to that.
No, but yeah, quite fancy. I thought it was the Olympics, so why not? Yeah. Let's get a little bit of Johnny Lee Miller doing a Scottish accent.
And one of the best English actors who does a Scottish accent, that's been in things that we've covered.
Yeah, certainly is. So yeah, looking forward to watching that for the next episode of The Swally. Right, well, thank you very much for today. If you would like, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you'd like to follow us, you can follow us on Insta at CultureSwallyPod, or you can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at SwallyPod. And if you would like to get in touch with us and email us with anything you'd like us to cover, or any recommendations, or anything you've seen in the news, or if you just want to say hello, drop us an email, cultureswally@gmail.com. And we have a wonderful website as well, don't we, Greg?
We do. You can find us at cultureswally.com for links to all the episodes and some features about Scottish film and television. Come and give us some traffic.
Wonderful. Right, well, I shall bid you farewell, Greg, and I'll see you in a few days.
See you. 4 sleeps. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4 sleeps.
You might sleep in the plane, will you? So that'll be another sleep. Yeah. Or that'll count as your sleep, will it?
Yeah, I'll maybe grab a couple hours on the plane. But I think I'll be too excited to sleep.
Ah, magic. Right, I'll see you in Edinburgh in a few days. 4 sleeps. Magic. Right, till next time.
Till next time.
Sorry to piss on your chips, but we haven't got time to play it safe. You said you'd take us to Kane, and I need to see him now.
Say that would help you find him. I can't take you to him.
Why not?
Because he will kill me. And if he finds out where you're from, he'll kill you too. Ever since Saul left, he's become suspicious of everyone, even me. His people are too afraid to defy him, and those who dare are tortured or killed. You're living proof of a world beyond that wall. All our lives he told us there was nothing out there. You being here makes him a liar.
What were you doing in the city?
Oh, it's to find my brother. So...
That maniac was your brother?
That is one fucked up family, man.
They're at war. And we're caught right in the middle.